welcome to the Astro Forecast for the week of November 7th to the 13th. This is a week I got the download that the theme for this week is going to be information versus emotions. Really kind of separating those two out because they're coming in to help you. Every experience that you have has information and emotions. And if we're seeing them kind of together, we feel like we have this experience that can trigger us. But the information is sort of what you would see if you were looking at something like looking at a camera or looking through a lens at something. You're just seeing the information, the facts of the situation. And then the emotions come in to color it good or color it bad. So the information comes in to give us the context of what is happening for us and just seeing what something it is before we start to color it with the emotions. The emotion is bringing up healing, and the information brings us the information. That is the context of the story. It's just is. Everything in this world is neutral, but we color it. Even if you were to get into a car accident, it's just neutral. Something has happened. The accident has happened, and a car hit your car or you hit another car. Either way, two cars have collided and there's damage there. And then our emotions can be scary. We can be fearful. We can feel like, oh my gosh, my insurance, or I don't feel well, or my body is hurt, or did somebody die, or how are they doing? All of those things, the thoughts now color the information with something. So it's just information and emotion. And I want you to think of it in that way when we go through this week, because it'll be really helpful. So we come into this week on Monday, November 7th, coming into almost a full moon. So the moon is almost full. It is got a lot of momentum to it. But remember, we have Mars retrograde right now. We're not meant to move forward. Mars is our momentum, our energy, our egoic will, our motivation, our desire, our passion. And it's retrograde right now, meaning we are meant to go inward with what are we passionate about? What are we motivated by? Do we want to that anymore? This is about ascertaining what do we really want. And in Gemini, the energy is so flippy floppy. One day you feel motivated to do the thing. Next thing you're like, One day you're like, let's launch this thing. And then another day you're like, I'm not going to launch this thing anymore. So the information is constantly coming in. Information, there's the theme of the week. Gemini is an information sign. It's curiosity. It likes to know all the things. So you're really kind of committing to this season up till March of 2023 of being okay with changing your mind. It's been happening. It's been happening to me. It's been happening to a lot of the people I know, all of my clients. It's okay to feel that wishy-washy. So it's not a time to move forward, okay, in the collective. And we're in Scorpio season, which is about bringing up all of the dark, deep feelings of stress and shame and guilt and sadness and grief. All of those things are coming up now. It's an intense time, y'all. I mean, we're in eclipse season. So this is going to be an eclipse week. It is an eclipse week. There's an eclipse on Tuesday. So Monday, we have Venus square to Saturn. Venus being relationships, love and values, what we love and value. And Saturn is about our responsibility, where we feel scarcity. It is the constriction. It is kind of doing the right thing. So when we have Venus square to Saturn, this is about relationship, waves in our waves of emotions in our relationships. So being cautious with what you share, stress in love and relationships and finances, boundaries are going to be really important. Healing in relationships and responsibilities we take on. What are you taking on? What are you making yours when it's not yours to take on? Or maybe you feel like other people aren't taking responsibility for their actions or their feelings. So this can be a day where relationship turmoil, financial turmoil, or things that are coming up for you in terms of scarcity around these Venus things, which is relationships, money, beauty and aesthetic, self-love. All of those things are in there. It's in Scorpio. Venus is in Scorpio right now. It's bringing up all of that stuff. So Saturday or Monday is going to be an intense week. It's setting the stage. And then on Tuesday, we have a full moon eclipse in Taurus. Now, Taurus is about money, values, resources, tangible natural resources for the world, the earth, right? Things that we hold on to long-term, I would say assets. That's a big one. My house, my car, my body. All those things are very Taurus. So with that Taurus energy and the full moon in Taurus, full moons are about release, culmination, understanding, and what we need to now kind of thank you we don't need this anymore. So Taurus is really bringing up all our scarcity issues right now. And of course, right, we are inflation city. We have, our interest rates are going up. Everything is costing more money. Groceries are costing so much more money. And, we're trying to pay our bills. Gas is going up, heating, like you're just seeing it around the world. And with the war in Ukraine right now, there's a lot of scarcity going on in that part of the world as well, where they are literally bombing, their infrastructure, their energy, their water plants, all those things. So scarcity is real. It's not just a mindset. It is real. We have, a lack of money in your bank account to pay your bills. You don't have enough on food in the fridge. Those are real, tangible things that we are dealing with as a collective. And I'll always bring the energy and power back to you. How do you want to go about this? How do you want to feel? What do we now need to kind of set in place a plan for ourselves? Maybe where can we bring in more money? Now more than ever, there are so many jobs and so many things available to everyone to do, right? If you want to take on another job just for the holidays, people are screaming for labor at this time. Or maybe you can like help somebody who needs some extra hours for, in virtual assisting or editing, or there's always ways to make money. So really what you focus on grows, right? Information versus emotion. What can you do? Information that's going to bring in more money, information that's going to help you then feel safe and secure, emotion, right? Well, how do you want to feel, and what do we need to do to make that happen for you? So that's going to be a big part of this, right? So this full moon eclipse in Taurus happens at 4:02 a.m. Mountain Standard Time in Canada, or the Mountain Standard Time zone, 3:02 a.m. on Tuesday in the Pacific time, and then 6:02 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time. So, and it's at 16 degrees exactly of Taurus. Now that's really interesting. I am going to talk about that in my new moon workshop, sorry, my full moon workshop. But just knowing there's some major aspects, a lot of major aspects happening during this moon. But the biggest one is we sort of have this conglomeration of planets in Scorpio and in Taurus. It's a lot of fixed energy in the charts. So fixity gives us determination, willpower. We go after what we want. We're going to stay the course in time, right? Willpower, determination. But the negative side of determination and willpower fixity is that we can be stubborn. We don't want to move. We don't have the flow that we need sometimes to shift and dodge and weave with things that are coming in, right? And so people during the pandemic that were really fixed in their constitution had a really tough time with changing everything that was going on and changing around them, versus people who are more flowy, who are more mutable, we call it in astrology. They have that ability to kind of flow in and out of change, are really good with crisis. So, you just notice that with yourself or with people in your life, that when you say, you know what, we're going to change plans, how do you feel? Do you feel like, oof, you want to dig in and go, no, I want these plans. This is what I planned for. I don't want to move off this plan. Or do you feel like, all right, let's go with it. Let's see what happens, right? What's the solution now? So that's fixity. So there's a lot of fixity in this chart of this new moon, full moon eclipse in Taurus. Oh, I keep saying new moon. Full moon. And the moon is sitting with Uranus and the North Node in Taurus. So North Node is our karmic destiny as a collective. Where are we heading to? What are we trying to evolve to? In Taurus, it is evolving our banking system, how we feel about money. So cryptocurrency, what is money? How much money does everyone ever actually have? Because there's actually, we used to think that gold was, the gold standard. Gold was backing up the money that a country prints. That's not actually the case at all. Money is a complete construct. There's nothing other than we value something at this, and this is what we pay for it. That's it. There's actually nothing behind it backing it. It's paper money, and in some cases in Canada, it's plastic money now. So when we think about money, Taurus, your North Node, we're starting to see money be a big, I'm going to say like highlight right now, because it's bringing that up for all of us. How do you feel about money? Do you have enough about your bills? Money trauma. Everyone's got money trauma. Freaking everyone's got money trauma. So it's going to be bringing that up. North Node, and then Uranus is sudden and unexpected changes, evolution, chaos. It likes to change things up, right? Almost kind of like takes all of your marbles and throws it up in the air and sees where they're going to land, right? It's like we're mixing it up. right? And then the moon in Taurus is the moon is our emotions, our nurturing, our intuition. And in Taurus, it is a little bit, I'm going to say, inflexible, right? It doesn't want to change. It wants to just stay where it is and be comfortable and like deeply sensual, and likes to drink good things and have wonderful clothing and live a lovely lifestyle where they're pampered, right? Moon in Taurus, they know nice things if you have a moon in Taurus. So sensuality, desire, serenity, relaxing, comfort, finances, resources, long-term relationships, right? Taurus are very loyal. They don't like to move off things and keep going in all different directions. They want to stay the course. And then, so everything, the full moon is the moon in Taurus and the sun in Scorpio. And in the sun also has, so Scorpio is about intimacy, deep desire, passion, owning our power, karmic debts that we have brought into this lifetime, ancestral trauma that we are healing and also responsible for in our time, healing old fears, psychological resources, psychological traumas, anything of the psyche, and research, like going deep into why. That's a very Scorpio question. Why? Also Aquarius. So that deep passion and intimacy, and we have the sun there, which is our identity. We have Venus there as well, which is our relationships, our finances, and the things that we feel that are beautiful, aesthetic, artistic nature. Mercury, which is our mind, communication, thought processes, our beliefs, and the south node, which is our karmic past. What have we already learned? What has come through our past that we have transcended, or maybe still transcending, learning, integrating? So that's the big conglomeration of planets. It's pretty big. It's really, really big, right? These are all sort of major points in our charts. So we've got this, really this dynamic. And so we've got the moon with moon and Uranus, and the north node in Taurus on one side, and then we have the sun, Venus, Mercury, and the south node on the other side, and then squaring them all, we call that a T-square. So squaring them all is Saturn, and Saturn is about responsibility, our duty, our structures in our life, the patriarchy. It's how we come into being with each other in a way that elevates us, or we feel scarcity. So with that square, it's in Aquarius, it's about the collective, being responsible to community. I always think of Saturn and Aquarius as like Medicare, right? Medicare for all, making sure we're taking care of everybody, and everyone at least gets the right to life, at least gets the right to care for themselves if they're not feeling well, or if they're facing life, chronic illness, or life-threatening illnesses or life-threatening things. So when we have this all together, what this means is, how are we using our resources creatively to be responsible for the collective and each other? And what are we releasing to get there in terms of our values, in terms of our beliefs, in terms of our identity? And how are we using the past life lessons to inform our future moves? Oh, that's my words. I summed it all up, because it's like, oh, I could talk about this, I could talk about this, I could talk about this, and I don't want to overwhelm you, because the majority of the people who watch me know sort of either basic level astrology or no astrology at all. And so that's what this boils down to with this eclipse. It's not easy because it's an eclipse, right? An eclipse in astrology is when the sun or the moon, so it's a new moon or full moon, is with the north nodes, the nodes of the moon, north or south nodes of the moon. So the nodes are about our destiny, our karmic destiny, meaning how are we trying to evolve as a society to move forward, and our karmic past, meaning what have we moved away from? What have we learned from our past, or what are we continuing to learn as it comes up? So they're big jumps in evolution. There are big moments in astrology in your lifetime. And, depending on where it sits in your chart, it can be really big, or it can feel like a little wave, but it's a wave. It's a big wave. So we don't really manifest during the eclipse season, but we are humans. We are always manifesting. We are so powerful. Whatever we focus on grows. So that is manifestation, right? Everything you have in your life now, you 100% got because you manifested it, because you worked towards it, Manifestation is a verb. It's not a being, it's a verb, right? You are doing it. You're keeping your thoughts focused on what you want. You're healing what holds you from it. You're taking the next right action and you're embodying the emotion that you want to feel as you do it, right? That all creates like a magnetic pull to you to get the thing that you want to get done. So sometimes it takes longer than others, right? This is no different. This is a big one for your finances, for your scarcity. Where do you feel like you're not safe? Taurus is about safety. We're creating that safety in our life. So using that, how are we using our resources creatively to be responsible for the collective and each other, moving into our passion and purpose while we release values, beliefs, and identities that no longer serve us while learning from our past life lessons. That's the theme. So easy, right? But even just understanding that for your life, it will hit you in a place in your life where you're like, I know what she's talking about. Relationship, money. Where do you not feel safe? We're all going through it. All right, Wednesday, November 9th. So these aspects are going to be in play now for the whole week because they're sort of coming into exactitude. They're close, but not exact. So as I move through the week, I'll tell you when they're exact, but these are all going to be in play for the whole week. So it's not going to be a light, bright week this week. It's going to be a very eventful karmic week, but pay attention to what's coming up for you. Pay attention to what's coming up with the people around you, right? Information. Not about you. They're going through their own thing. If someone comes up to me and says, "You're a terrible friend," of course, I want to check and go, Am I a terrible friend? Please tell me, like, where have I not been? Curiosity, right? Well, please tell me what happened. Where do you feel like I've not been a good friend? Okay. And then I can listen to what they're having to say. I can check in with my heart and feeling like, did I let them down in that moment? Could I have done something better for my own ethics, like my own lens of what I feel is like a good or bad person and how I want to live my life and my core values? And does that jive with who I am? And if I feel like I literally have done a disservice, then I'll say sorry. I don't have a problem saying sorry. I don't intentionally try to hurt anybody, and I'm growing too. And so thank you for telling me that. I definitely want to shift that in myself. And let's talk about what kind of relationship we can have. The quality of your relationships, especially as you get older, will be determined by the caliber of your conversations, right? Your ability to have hard conversations with friends, you're going to get new friends in life, and not everyone's going to be a high school or an elementary or junior high friend. Those friends are there because you see them all the time, right? Do you become deep with them? Sure, you can. Of course you can, right? But as you get older and you get new friends, you now have to have conversations in a very loving, compassionate, non-judgmental way of, when you did this, I felt this, or I didn't really like this. And here's what I didn't like about it. And the person can say, tough on you, I guess, right? Or they can say, I'm so sorry you feel like that. Like, tell me more. And maybe that's a them problem. Maybe that's a you problem. Maybe that's a both of you problem. Maybe, we don't know, right? But until you have those conversations and take the emotion out, listening to the information, and then realizing that the emotion is actually bringing up a wound of your past if you feel triggered, right? If this person is coming to you and saying, you're a bitch, and I'd be like, if I had a problem with the bitch word, then I'd be like, I hate you, right? But I don't have a problem with that. So I can be like, yes, I'm a bad bitch. Like, you can own that, or you can get triggered by it. But really, it's about understanding that the word itself is neutral. It's just 5-letter word. Yeah, just a 5-letter word, right? It means nothing. It's just a word. But we color it good or bad depending on your past, depending on your experience with it. So you get to change that with yourself by sitting with the information, and then also sitting with the emotion. The emotion is still important. We're not trying to bypass that, but we are trying to listen with an open mind with what's coming in, and then filtering it through our heart with compassion and love, saying, does this really reflect who I am, or did I do something inadvertently in this moment? Because sometimes we can feel bad about that. So relationships are a big key this week with all these Venus experiences, Venus being in Scorpio, sitting with the sun and Mercury. So on Wednesday, we have the sun opposite Uranus. The sun is our vitality and our egoic self, sorry. Will is Mars, our egoic self, and opposite Uranus and Taurus. So this is unexpected events happening. This is a great day, Wednesday, November 9th, to not have a big agenda or not big to-do list, because there's going to be twists and turns in your day. Try something new. Exciting opportunities might reveal themselves to you this day. This is about disruption. And our Uranus is about our unique gifts and talents and our effervescent self, how we shine our light into the world. And it's asking you to rise up out of judgment and be who you are. But the sun opposite feels like we can't be our truest self. So where are you masking? Where are you feeling like you can't be your authentic self? And where do you dim your light? You can start to feel that today. Insights can bring, and insights and ideas can bring you rapid changes now, and changes that are going to really help you to evolve and evaluate yourself. So craving freedom today, you might just want to kind of break free and go for a drive or a holiday. That's normal on this day. Do you want to do that? I would say, depending on your circumstances, your finances, your job, all that kind of stuff, might be a nice day to go for a day trip. I would say be very, very careful though with this eclipse energy. And then Thursday, November 10th, we have two aspects on this day: Mercury square to Saturn, which again, that's part of the eclipse energy that we had. This is about carefully listening today. Okay, so Mercury is our mind, our thought processing, our listening, our speaking. And square is a crisis or a challenge, and Saturn is about our responsibility, our duties, people of authority, and Aquarius is about kind of the collective. So this is about kind of my needs versus the collective needs. And this kind of really triggered for me toxic individuality or toxic individualism. My needs are more important than the collective needs. And we're really seeing this come up. I almost want to do a video about this, because we're really seeing this come up with regards to, like, especially when we saw this with Trump, and we're seeing this with some of the politicians in the US right now, where they're saying that they're not going to acknowledge the outcome of the election. So the people have spoken, Aquarius, Saturn's in Aquarius right now, but then Mercury in this, Scorpio is not really a me sign. Taurus would be more of a me sign, or Aries is a me sign, where it's like, but I'm not going to acknowledge it. I'm not going to acknowledge the voice of the people. And it's like, but you're in politics. You're actually speaking for the people. So what are you saying? You're wanting to work in a system, but you don't want to acknowledge the purpose of the system. I'm so confused by this. And then the only thing I can sort of boil this down to is toxic individualism, where my needs to be right, to be on the top of this podium, to be in power, trumps everyone else's needs to be in a democratic society. Huh? I don't get it. I don't get it. So this Mercury square to Saturn, I think, is a bit of this. It's about my needs versus everyone else's needs. And hard work, working by yourself is probably a good idea today, and clashes with authorities likely during this time. And then also on this day, though, which is interesting, is Venus trine to Saturn. So we can feel like we really want to have deep connections with people. Venus is in Scorpio, though, so maybe it's bringing up this want to be in deep connection with others. And Neptune, sorry, did I say Venus trine to Neptune? Neptune is retrograde in Pisces right now. So this is about deep, like, creative, spiritual experiences. So romance, heightened intuition, maybe wanting to help charities, increase tenderness. This is actually a really lovely aspect for deeper connections, spiritual transcendence, doing spiritual work like meditations or journeying or shamanic work. Really wonderful. Fantasy, daydreaming, singing. This is actually a really lovely aspect for singing. So, but the Scorpio and the Pisces retrograde piece is bringing up deep things that are buried, that we can use our compassion, our empathy, our spirituality to help bring up some more healing for ourselves. So it's a wonderful aspect. But coupled with that Mercury square to Saturn, be careful what you say. to people. People are very sensitive on this day. So just kind of being quiet and listening. Good day to that. Friday, November 11th, we also have a challenging aspect is the sun square to Saturn. So again, that's from the eclipse still, but this is exact today. Tests and challenges that you must overcome to get ahead in life. Determination, obstacles, consequence. This is part of a bigger cycle with the sun and Saturn. So Saturn is like about our growth. Father time is Saturn. It is about healing our experiences with responsibility, with authority, and helping us to take authority in the world or be that authority figure. Not really take, because we're not taking it. We are being it and we are rising into that, right? It's not about grabbing it from others. So when we see this square, because as the sun comes in, this is the closing square, because as the sun comes in to sit in Aquarius in December, January, we're going to notice December, January, I'm just thinking. Yeah, it'll be January, February. Yes, in January, February for Aquarius, that Aquarian time, that's when the sun will come to sit with Saturn. So it's almost like that cycle will start again. So this closing cycle now, or this closing square, is helping us to get rid of all the ways we don't feel that we're honoring our truest nature, or that we're shirking our duties, or that we're not being there for society, which again, toxic individualism. My needs trump the needs of society. It's a very fine line, right? Of course, we need to put the oxygen mask on ourselves. We need to have food on our table. We can't be so giving that we now don't have anything for ourselves, right? It's that balancing act of, I got to take care of myself. I got to take care of my energy so then I can take care of my family, so I can do the things I need to do in my life, right? It's not just, hoarding all the resources and keeping them all for me and nobody gets anything, right? It's this give and receive. When we stop and we're just in receive mode, that is toxic individualism. So it's interesting that that's coming up again here. And then on Friday, we also have another bit of a challenging aspect, which is Venus in conjunct, or quincunx, we call it in astrology, to Mars retrograde in Gemini. So this is a feeling of like we just don't have enough, or we feel like you need to assert yourself and not be sort of scared to assert what you want and what's for you, but also again acknowledging the needs of others. You need validation to feel important and love. So this can feel like I don't feel like anyone loves me or wants to choose me. Use me. Basically, it's uneasy emotions in relationships, tensions. You question your role in relationships, and this might even be a bit of jealousy with this energy. So just noticing if that comes up for you. And again, I've mentioned this before if you've been watching me for a while. Jealousy just means that you feel like you can't have what other people have, right? I can't be, and I can't be for them because or they won't choose me, right? Or I can't have that car, or I can't have that job, or I can't have that life. And it's like, why not? Let them be the example that it can be. Let them be the example that it can be for you as well, because they've shown you that they can do it. It's possible. Thank you for showing me it's possible. And now I know I can do it too. Right? That's how you diffuse jealousy. Saturday, November 12th, we have Mercury trine to Neptune. This brings lots of spiritual insights, a great kick-ass intuition, great time for speaking, creativity, imaginations. You get to bring your ideals into your day-to-day life and start to live it more so. But again, Neptune is retrograde. So this is about kind of going deeper into meaning and understanding your passion and purpose and living it out into life. So making sure your ideals and your thoughts kind of match up, right? Our thoughts is our mind, our beliefs are now coming to maybe some transcendence or healing. And then on Sunday, November 13th, we have Venus sextile to Pluto. Venus is what we love and value, and Pluto is about deep death, rebirth, and transformation. So this is deep relationships, great connections with people, research, uncovering the truth. We're able to use our desires to transform and heal, deep love and intense connections. And then on this day as well, we also have a Mercury in conjunct to Mars retrograde. So this is a feeling of we feel stuck. We feel like an inconjunct or quincunx means that we need to adjust our mindset, our beliefs, the way that we're thinking and speaking versus our energy and momentum. We want to move forward, but we can't. So this is a really frustrating aspect that's going to continue into next week, where we feel like we want to have forward momentum, but we just can't do it. We just can't get there just yet. So it's just right timing you, and also be careful with what you say. Slow down, less is more, listen. This can lead to being more competitive or being a really powerful speaker, and stretching yourself thin or taking on too much. So on Sunday into Monday of next week, just making sure that you're being really discerning with what you take on, and just being kind of quiet to just watch and listen what's happening around you and taking in the information and seeing how the emotion is coloring things. So that's a really big key for this week. It's a lot. Thank you for being here right till the end of this video. There is so much happening in the collective right now. You notice everything has a theme here to help you with your forward momentum, but the healing has to be done first with these kind of outer planets that are still in retrograde. It's not quite time yet. And Mars, which is our motivation and desire, is also retrograde. So it's not a time to take action and to charge ahead with things. It's a time now to really sit in and being the witness of what's coming up for you, and healing that is going to then rocket you forward when we come into January, February. All right. Wishing you a wonderful week ahead. Happy eclipse week. You are not alone. I'm in it with you. I keep dropping little tidbits on my social media. So that stay tuned for that as well. And of course, if you want to work more closely with me, please do so. Message me and I'll show you different ways that we could do that feel right for both of us. Have a wonderful week. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Bye.